Hey everybody, it's Chris back with another review for the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. I've been doing a lot of fruit beers lately, and I'm going to be breaking from that a little bit, which I think is good because, quite frankly, I'm usually not that big a fan of fruit beers. There's a couple that I like a lot, but for the most part, it's not really a variety that I dig the most. Today's selection, in keeping with getting away from fruit beers, is the cryostash, Imperial IPA from Hop Valley Brewing. Hop Valley is out of Eugene, Oregon, so they're college brewers, um, college town brewers, I should say. This beer is described as the latest creation to be pulled from our stash of cryo hops. Cryostash is perfectly smooth Imperial IPA, showcasing Simcoe hops treated at sub-zero temps, yet bursting with warm tropical citrus flavor and aroma. It has a 8.7 IBU, or I'm sorry, 8.7 ABV and 40 IBUs, about where you'd expect an IPA to be in terms of bitterness, and an Imperial to be in terms of alcohol by volume. I paid $1.99 for that 12-ounce bottle, and now I come to think of it, I didn't look for it before. I do not see. Okay, there it is. Yeah, the Best By date isn't until the 1st of April, so this is actually ahead of the mark, which is good. A couple marks ahead of the mark. Um, and actually, when I went to their website, it says it's best, the temperature it refers to it serving as is as chilled. So I usually like to take my beers that I'm going to review out of the fridge a little early. I don't necessarily want them to warm up, but I don't want them to be cold, cold. And so I did that with this one. Now, to give you the rundown on the stats, I have only one friend who's reviewed this on Untapped. He gave it a 3.75. 2,568 of us have given it a cumulative score of 3.87. There are 8 reviews on Beer Advocate, and for some weird reason, Beer Advocate doesn't have when the first review was, which normally is on Beer Advocate, and I'm a little surprised by that. But anyway, it's not on there, but they do have 8 reviews giving it a cumulative score of 3.65, which on their scale says it is good, simply good, not very good, just good. Also, when I went to Hop Valley's site and looked at the description of the beer, it says it should have a medium body and copper in color. Now, it did not give suggestions for, spit it out, Rouse, for glassware. Because it is an Imperial IPA and some of the higher ABVs usually get put into tulip glasses, I'm going to go ahead and use my tulip glass. Um, some may say that that's unnecessary for a beer that has, if you're going to drink an IPA, an Imperial, it needs to have a 10% ABV in order to merit putting in a tulip glass, and there's maybe something to be said for that. But when it's the higher ABVs, like, what did I just say this was? 8.7? For this one I read? Yes, 8.7 ABV. I just figure, what the hell, let's put it in tulip. So let's see how this pours. And, okay. I'm not so sure I'd call that coppery. Frankly, I call it a bit more carroty. I mean, not a big deal. I don't care, but I'm just saying that it doesn't. This is not what I would call a copper color. Now, what's coming through on the camera is a copper color, but what's actually coming through on here is not. And we've got about, I'd say, medium carbonation on this. The head seems to be. I don't see too much in the way of bubble bursting. I get the feeling this head may be with me for a while. I do see tiny, tiny particulate, but really not that much. This is not a sedimenty beer. An array of tropical and citrusy hops, for sure. That's for damn sure. Getting a slight whiff of alcohol, which is not altogether surprising when you get above 7% ABV. Usually there's some alcohol whiff, but what I've also noticed is just because that there's an alcohol in the bouquet doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to feel it in the throat when you swallow. So, okay. I think this smells really fruity and juicy, so I'm ready to check this out. Cheers. Oh, it's nice and clean, almost Pilsnery clean. If those who are fans of Pilsner know what I'm talking about, there's that certain cleanliness that comes with um, Pilsners. There's really no alcohol burn, so that alcohol that came through on the bouquet is not coming through on the back of the throat. Rather low mouthfeel, not a whole lot of spikiness to this. Um, and 40 IBUs is not crazy IBUs. I mean, it's what you'd expect for an Imperial IPA because, as as you add to the ABV, oftentimes it sort of mellows out the IBUs. And that seems to be the case here. I mean, there's just the right amount of bitterness. This is for those who enjoy a good hearty IPA. Those who like the more fruity IPAs, or say the red IPAs, I don't know if you're going to like this. Those who like rye IPAs and black IPAs, now you might like this more than our friends who like the milkshake IPAs or the red IPAs. Not a whole lot of bitterness. Um, Not a whole lot of spikiness, but it's still good. It's coming through with lots of hop flavor. And like I said, despite that 8.7, I'm really not feeling much of an alcohol burn. So I imagine I'm going to be giving this, oh, got nice lacing on it too. I meant to show that to you. I get that up in the, I'm afraid the reflection of the sun might be cutting it, but we do have some nice lacing on that. So well, I would give it a 4.25 if it were in a can, but I'm going to give it a 4.0 because it's in a bottle. Haha, sorry. My ranking system, my decisions. And I'm going to recommend this to you, though, at a 4.0. Definitely, this is a beer that I would recommend to others, especially when you pay only $1.99 for a 12-ounce bottle like this. So, gang, until next time, drink good beer. Don't break the bank doing it, and cheers.